on heroic doses of narcotics. Heroic doses. Though you sneak up on that, right? So although that none of us would survive, I don't think the doses that she was receiving for, even if we split them, between the three of us. But that was a scenario where I was really taken aback, and I'm saying, well, all right, well, this girl stood up on the gurney and gave me a hug, if I remember correctly, in the ER at the time of admission, and I'm saying, okay, well, where does the DNR come from, and who does not have a quality of life, and all of this piece, and I had frank conversations with Mom. It went kind of shockingly well. I think palliative care was there with us when I had to tell her that I'm not comfortable with this. I cannot sign this DNR, and I told her I can't trust you to tell me that has no quality of life. All right, and I think I probably said it doesn't matter who you are. I'm not going to trust you to be the only voice for and tell me that he doesn't deserve everything that we would offer for another child here. And we also talked about, well, what do you do in this scenario? Okay, and there were some meetings, and I called an ethics consult, and had meetings with palliative care, and then eventually with a colleague who took over her care, because I just wasn't comfortable with that scenario. And in those conversations, we talked about, well, what do you do with this, right? Where you don't know. And I was clear about, all right, I don't know. Intestinal failure has dysmotility or not. And there is no test I could do to do that other than to challenge this. And we had conversations, and I don't even remember who was involved in which ones, but about, well, okay, you hospitalize her. Well, if you hospitalize and a parent, Kelly or otherwise, is in that room at all, okay, well, that's not going to be a very good test, right? So what, do you remove home, and do you put another placement? And wow, that's an enormous step. I think the last admission, there was close to, despite the many hours that day, there really was no substantial discussion about signs or symptoms there. It was really all about, okay, we have a DNR. This is a horrible situation in my mind, and I don't think we should have a DNR. And I can't find anyone who could tell me why we should have a DNR. And I sought out people who knew her, and that was the focus of the last admission. And in the end, I remained very, very uncomfortable with the situation and care. I mean, I've never been in a situation where I refuse somebody's care. I've never heard of that before.